stuff is not for sale!
Hey everybody, this is Petey from the Spinner Rack, and today I'm going to talk about a book that's rarely talked about. We're going to talk about John Byrne's Babe. Now you see, this is some of the inserts that was either in Comic Shop News or previews, and this was the, I think, maybe the Comic Fan Special, and another report of Danger Limit going away. So here's a little sort of a brief about Babe. And Danger Unlimited was, I guess you could say, canceled after a 4-issue miniseries. Later a trade came out. Surprisingly, we had this notice that there were going to be this book, Babe. It was with no warning. This came out, but we got this notice here about Byrne axing Danger Unlimited. We also got this notice in previews that there was going to be this book called Babe, and a little brief synopsis of it. Now, the whole climate of comics kind of changed before everything that came into plans that was in this interview actually happened. But we did get Babe. We get 2 miniseries of Babe. This would be the cover. This ad would be the cover of Babe 2, and one of my favorite sort of books, the Cyber Gators. But we're going to briefly go through the Babe series to sort of show you what was going on with it, and we're going to say it's totally worthwhile, right? Especially since in Babe we have these painted covers by Gary Cody. So it has Matt Webb also in here doing colors, not on this cover but on the insides. We got these nice covers, and sort of a wonky series, not necessarily a slap your leg sort of funny sort of thing, but sort of a fun series, right? Let's introduce Babe here, which is Ralph Rowan. And these are the 2 leads in the story, right? So, this is the intro, and this is one of the things that I like to point out, is that this is Byrne doing his sort of Sin City type of thing, but in his style. And this is why Frank Miller didn't attack everybody in comics, because even Perez was doing his sort of dark Sin City stuff, but it's all sticking with your style rather than using someone else's style, right? And he runs into Babe here, and this shot here is from a great angle of Babe, right? Nice, cool angle. One of the things that make, why comics are so great, can hit you at an angle that you rarely sort of see. And Ralph Rowan meets Babe and does the right thing, helps her out, plays Good Samaritan, takes her to the police station and runs out, right? And all she knows is the name that he said 3 million times, Babe, right? Now, with this in mind, we also meet Sylvia, who's his secretary / his right arm. Gets ready, and he realizes that Babe has already been put to use by somebody else, right? Nice ad. And this is one of the cool things about this book, is that this gives you a nice sort of California sort of settings, and gives you really that feel of California. That's one of the things where we're looking for the classic, what's the name, Byrne Austin, but in this we get a nice seedy sort of LA type of comic book, right? And then getting into something that would be even beyond what you see in Beverly Hills. And we meet Gideon Longshadow, who's seemingly the villain of this plot. And then we meet Babe again. And of course, what's been hinted at before is that Babe is super strong, right? So one of the things, the hooks of this book, is sort of the mundane sort of things, sort of this sort of really capturing LA, if you've been out there, not to the glitz and glamour, but sort of the seedy parts of it. And just having this sort of basic sort of thing here. Something that you really... So once you go cosmic in this story, it really pays off. So you start here, you have this set up, and you'll see this throughout the series. Right, sorry, that went back the other way. Babe's still struggling with her understanding of things, but she speaks and says something, but she can't repeat it. You meet Sylvia, they immediately connect, and then Babe has a reason to go to this house. And here, once again, we have this nice setup, almost like something you see at a home and garden type of setup, really setting the stage for these different areas of LA, the different classes and whatnot. Real human sort of setup. That didn't sort of work out, so then we go down to even more seedier aspects of LA. You got David Letterman, or someone that looks sort of like him, but even didn't know David Letterman's in New York City. Cool concrete story. Definitely check it out. And then back to the seedy hotels, right? Really capturing your LA vacation. But then we get the Bollywood sort of aliens in here, right? Legend has it, ads for legend, and then the next man jacket ad, right? So we're gonna keep going. 7 minutes. Here we get to the Bollywood sort of cover. And once again, here's the sort of LA highways. We meet the, what is this? The blonde bombshell. Once again, going into her house. Another sort of mundane setting. So there's a big splash when you get to the cosmic stuff in this book, right? It makes it even bigger, right? Cool effects in there. X-Men ad. And then the cosmic meets the home and garden. Then we get to these aliens. All right, and this is where it really gets wonky, right? Now the bombshell sort of knows who these characters are. We meet the Torch of Liberty, who we've seen in Byrne books and in Hellboy. We see Sylvia trying to help out Ralph. But then we find all these humans, right? And that was hinted earlier. That was talking about a plane crash that happened early on when they met the husband who lost his wife in that scene earlier. And then we get here, we're getting to see what happened, what is a bigger part of the plot, and this is a cool effect for the plane. We start to see something happen, we kind of zero in on this with these characters, this female here, these two characters. And then we see Babe in the buff again. And of course, there's a sacrifice that's made. So, of course, they get Babe free. About to get Babe free. They break out. Ralph, this gentleman. You see the aliens are a little crazy and a little nutty. They keep taking out people that could help the ship out. But Sylvia's upset what's going on between Babe and Ralph. Of course, we know nothing's going on, but it's always good to add sort of stuff like that in there. They're ready for action. Ladies are ready for action. Another big, cool thing set up right here. So let's keep going. See Gideon Longshadow. Another cool splash. Longshadow regrets. They have some sort of protective things that doesn't allow them to die. Right? This is a cool page where you follow the arrows. And then a little spoof on Spawn here. But that's not actually Spawn. That would be Nemesis that Byrne did, as a gag. He's sort of the superhero of these villains. So ultimately, this could have been this, but this is to set up how Babe came to be. So all these very cosmic sort of aspects to the story. Right? The only problem is, at the same time, and this sets up the history of why they're so backwards, because they concentrate on art and less on the technology. They have all the people, but then they're starting to realize how these people were extracted. But there's only five people are missing from this thing. So they start to figure this out. They figure out everything that's here. Use the setup. When this beam happens, it'll figure everything out. They beam down everybody. This is one of my favorite shots of Babe right there. Then back to the basic stuff, the marina, right? But as they get home, they realize the babysitter, Sylvie's kid, has been hogtied and the baby's gone. So they have to go out to see Gideon Longshadow. Gideon Longshadow is like, they had the kid. No, they're going to drop the kid unless Babe hands over. Babe says, nope, I can't make that decision. Babe has to. Babe, of course, takes action. Doesn't play to the hostage situation. Tosses this guy instead of the kid being tossed. But some new aliens pop up. And in this series, I'm not going to get into it, but the prototypes are also in here. They have their own Christmas special. We're not going to get into them right now. Every issue has the black and white version, the ink version. So let's give you the ink versions of the other ones. Before I go any further, here's the black and white version of that cover. Here's the black and white version of the first cover, right? So this one is a non-painted cover. So this one, the black and white version, is just sort of a negative of this cover. And I think sort of digitally worked on. Not sure, but possibly. And this is the issue where it explains what happened to Babe, right? So these aliens come along. They are sorting everything out. And then at this point, Babe can speak. And then they go through the history of these guys. And they get really cosmic here, really cool looking aliens. But then they have a little sort of sorcerer's apprentice here that causes this sort of melee, that this thing that happens across the center of their power. It interacts with the With this plane, we saw that set up with the different coloring. We're sort of seeing these 5 characters all together, and they're all touching at the same time. And then bang, the plane is, we see that before, right? We see all these cool effects to this issue where we have the big reveal of how those 5 girls became one individual. So everything has been multiplied. That's why she's that much stronger and able to jump and do all this other. The 5 have been fused. And then she falls and survives, and she meets Ralph. And then they break the link, and then of course these 5 women are separated, and they started going through the stuff that they remembered, right? But then of course the Sorcerer's Apprentice is here, and the plan is a standoff, but at the same time this kid finds something he shouldn't, and everything goes bloody. Right? Everything is over. Michael Richardson from Dark Horse is working for Long Shadow. Everything is over, right? They about to go back to their ordinary lives, and of course Sylvia's pretty upset with the Ralph as usual. But we get to one of the ladies at the least action-packed version of them. She goes to the supermarket. It's one of the best pages ever. This very mundane page leading to the Cyber Gators. And this is the really hook of Babe. They're going from this really mundane storytelling moment, going shopping, and then bang. It's something that I think you see in the X-Men, Wolverine and Colossus at the soda shop. This kind of tops that sort of thing. Sort of the storytelling of 2 cashiers not wanting to do their work, and of course this the woman kind of not want to be too bothersome to them, but she's upset when she leaves. And then we get these Cyber Gators, right? So we got through it.